Alright everybody, welcome back to my lovely YouTube channel. It has been well over a month since my last update and it's just been way too long. I have so much going on. It's not always that I'm just busy either. Like, I'm still struggling with depression and anxiety. I just had a terrible week last week and I was doing really good, and tour has helped me a lot. So I'm going to talk about all that, but first I'm introducing a new method to my video making. I'm not using my phone or my camera. I mean, not my phone, not my computer. What happened was my first ever digital SLR, my Nikon D60, is malfunctioning. I thought it was the flash. I went to shoot a wedding and the flash wasn't going off right, and it was just all this big catastrophe, and it turns out I think it's the camera because I tried the flash on another camera and it works just fine. So I ended up having to get a new camera, and I did it the only possible way that I can think of, and I'm going to make monthly payments on it, so I have it now, but it's so I can continue to work, because I still have a few other jobs I need to do before I'm out of them, because I don't have any more booked, but I need to have a camera for those, and that's how I make my money right now. It's like the only way. And so yeah, I'm shooting for the first time ever, not being able to look at myself while I shoot, so that's also really strange. And it's kind of nerve-wracking. Like, I'm shooting right now and I'm just like, I want to know if I'm making a silly face or looking really strange, because I don't know. But yeah, it's also crazy because it's in HD, so sorry for my flaws, people, but that doesn't matter. So anyways, I'm going to talk about tour, because that's been too long since I've talked about anything, and tour was a big thing. So yeah, a couple weeks ago we were on tour. We went out for 12 days. We played 6 shows in those 12 days. And the rest of the time we just spent hanging out and kind of taking a vacation, because none of us have really had a vacation in a long time. I haven't been anywhere in over 4 years, I think was the last time I took an entire week or so to just go somewhere and do something. So yeah, we went to South Dakota, western South Dakota, and back. Went to the Badlands, which were great. Possibly my new favorite place, because it's just so overwhelming, the mountains and the just nothing. There's nothing in South Dakota. It's just miles of roads and cornfields and tumbleweeds. But it was awesome. It's probably one of my new favorite places. And so along the way, we played our first show in Pittsburgh, which was great. A lot of our friends came, played with awesome bands, and couldn't have asked for a better start to the tour. And we stayed at one of Kate's friends' houses, and I never met her before, but she was really sweet. I like her, and we're friends now. And then we stayed there, and after that we made our way to Akron, Ohio, where we played at a really crazy venue where we showed up and there was this jazz band playing, and we thought we were going to not fit in, because we were it's kind of higher class looking, and we're just this dirty grunge band-ish something. So that was interesting, but it actually went really, really well. That was probably one of my favorite shows of the tours, and I don't know, it was really nice to be able to just play for 2 straight hours, and they expect you to play original music, so that was really awesome too. And then from there we went to Cleveland to stay with our friend Jacob, and I haven't seen him in a long time, actually since I first transitioned, I think was the last time I saw him. And this is weird if he sees this, but he's actually one of the reasons why I got so into photography, because I always enjoyed his work. Like, he's a photographer too. So, and like, he has never done, like, I mean, he did it for a profession for a while, but like, he's just really all about the art, and he's doing a lot of cool stuff in Cleveland from what I can tell, so that's awesome. And it was really good to see him. I met his girlfriend and a few of their friends. And then, so we woke up. Sadly, we left before they woke up because we had to get going. We went to celebrate Kate's birthday in Chicago. And I think Chicago, when we got there, we didn't play in Chicago. We just hung out. We went and had like some Indian food and just celebrated her birthday. And that was cool. Went and like visited like vintage shops and things like that. And I really do think Chicago was my favorite city to go on tour. And I was surprised to see how much I liked it, that I was like, I could probably live here. And then to top it off, I got to meet my longtime friend of several years now, since like I started transitioning. We met on Tumblr and just talked back and forth for those years, and finally, didn't think it was going to happen, but we got to meet up and hang out, and I got to go to her place when she has like a kind of commune house, like type punk house with a bunch of trans women, and that was really cool. I got to meet them, and you know, like, I really don't get to meet a lot of other trans people, so I was so excited to be able to like be in that environment, and I was kind of like, man, I kind of just like want to stay. But obviously I couldn't do that. I have so many other things to do. But yeah, it was a really fun time, and I was just so glad to finally meet her, and I think she felt the same. So, because, you know, when you're talking to somebody for so long online and you finally get to meet them and like have that interaction, like you're already like really close, it's cool. So, but anyways, we left from there, and then this is where our camping trip finally started because we didn't have any more places to stay. So we went to a campsite. We went to like state parks and just like camped. Sometimes got in trouble because we went like in the middle of the night when you're supposed to have a reservation. But we paid in the morning. Even if they yelled at us, we still supported them. We just needed a place to pitch our tent for the night. So we were outside Chicago, and from there, I believe we went to Madison. Yeah, sorry, it's just like, it feels like it's been so long. We were in Madison, Wisconsin, and that one was interesting. We ended up showing up on the day that they have their annual triathlon, which they call the Ironman, and I swear there was just like every single person in town like at this event. And of course the bar we're playing at is like right in the middle of all this stuff. So we had to like spend 2 hours trying to find our way to get our van to the place to unload. And like all the police officers like don't want to help. We stopped and like tried to get this police officer to tell us like how to get there, and he was just basically telling us we're out of luck. He was like, oh, maybe you can get a dolly and haul it across the town. And we're like, yeah, 2 fucking girls and a guy hauling all this equipment everywhere across town. Sure. But we ended up finding a way, and that show ended up being very just like intimate because there wasn't a lot of people since like the triathlon was going on. But it was really fun. Like, the other bands were really awesome and nice people. It was nice to meet them. And the bar actually was really cool. They had a lot of cool punk bands play there, so that was interesting. Like, they had their entire bar covered in, like, stickers, and it's mostly punk bands. And I'm like, oh, that band played here, or this band. You know, just bands that I used to listen to when I was, like, really into punk. So that was cool. And then we went from there, camping more, and that was when our long drive started, because we went from there and went to the Badlands, so we had like a 9-hour drive ahead of us, and so it was fun. You know, we just like went on another trip. It was like a new road trip, but we had this like crazy destination to go to the Badlands, and it was so great. We made it like into South Dakota, and we camped for the night. So we like still had to drive another day, but we like tried to like make it fun. So we just like did other random things. And when we finally got to the Badlands, that's just like when I was just like in awe, and we had so much fun. I couldn't even believe how amazing that place is. Like, and there's just so much. There's just like miles and miles of these mountainous clay things. And we went early when we first got there just to be able to check it out, and then we actually had to like leave. So we like hung out for a little bit, and then we went and saw Mount Rushmore in the middle of the night, well, right before they like closed for the night, so nobody was there at all. And that was interesting. Kind of underwhelming. Didn't really think it was that impressive. I mean, I guess it's impressive, but after we went to the Crazy Horse Memorial, that kind of just like blew it out of the water, because the Crazy Horse Memorial's like so much bigger than Mount Rushmore, and I think the story is much cooler behind it. Like, I don't really want to get into the whole story of Crazy Horse, but if you don't know about Crazy Horse, look him up and just see what it was that he did and why they're building a memorial, and how long they've been working on this thing, and how far they've gotten, and how far they'll probably get on it before like our lifetime, or like if you're my age, our lifetime. So, but that was a really cool place. That was probably like my favorite like touristy thing we did, was the Crazy Horse Memorial. And from there, that's when, or was that the night before that I had to, we stayed in a Walmart parking lot one of the nights, and that was the night before. And of course it was the night I had to shave, and if you're trans as well, you understand this. Try to picture me shaving in a Walmart parking lot in the middle of the night, with like a George Foreman grill and a pot of water, and it was very nerve-wracking, but I didn't have a choice because there were no like campsites close, and the one we were trying to go to was just completely filled, and it was just like an RV park. So we had to settle, and I would have been fine. Like, I've stayed in a Walmart parking lot before, but not whenever I had to shave my face and my legs. And like every time a car would come, I would like dive into the van. And Dan was nice enough to like stand guard for me, so I didn't like have to like try to keep my like focus on it, so I could like focus on shaving. So that was really nice of him. And then from there we went to the Crazy Horse Memorial, and trying to think of where, we went from there. We went into, oh goodness. That's when, we started making our way back after we went to the Badlands for the day, because we spent a lot of the day there. I almost got attacked by a ram. That was interesting, but that's what I get for trying to take pictures. But in my defense, I didn't see the mother until it was a little too late, and it was because I was screaming and yelling about there being a ram, finally, because I wanted to see one so bad. And the mother like came over this peak, and she was not very happy with me, so she started coming towards me, not running, just walking and being like, you need to get out of here. So we didn't stay there, obviously, but that was a fun experience. And then that's when we started making our way. Like, we went to the Loop and came back, and we started our next round of shows. Because then we hit up, we were in St. Louis, and that show was phenomenal. All the bands were great. Everybody had such amazing energy, and it actually reminded me of shows that we used to have back here. So I actually told them that, because like the bands and everybody, it just reminded me of like the scene we used to have here, and like the people just coming for the shows and not like knowing the bands, and just like being there to support the music. And the bar was very supportive. It's just amazing to find cool places like that. and to make those connections, you know, we'll be able to go back to those places, and everybody was just wonderful. And we got offered to stay at a place, but we actually wanted to make our way further, so we ended up camping again. And I'm not going to complain because camping is fun and private. I was actually really relieved to know we were camping, because staying at people's places that I don't know, that really makes me like anxious. So, I mean, I dealt with it that night we stayed with Kate's friend in Pittsburgh, but I got to know her over the night too really well, so it was kind of okay. But I was, you know, I was fine. So yeah, we camped again, and then we went into Muncie, Indiana, after a long drive through Omaha, which I wish we could have went to Omaha. I've always wanted to visit Omaha, but we didn't have time, so we kept going through Omaha and through, I think we were in Iowa for a minute and something else, but we made our way into Muncie, Indiana, and that bar was just ridiculous. Like, I just couldn't get over. I mean, it had an outside patio, and it's just like this 2-story, not even 2-story, it's like a basement, and then like the main level, but you can, like, there's couches in there, and like video games, like actual video games, not like arcade games. Like there was like a Wii set up so you could play like Mario Kart, which is phenomenal. I didn't play, but I should have. And they had a lot of local brews. A lot of the bars had local brews, and we're always into that, so that was really fun. And that show was a little bit of a bust, mainly because there was supposed to be 3 bands, but the 3rd band didn't show up. But it was still fun. And I mean, just playing for people is just always fun, no matter who's there. And so we got a campsite before we went to that show, and this one was like a little self-owned, like, family campsite, and it was interesting. And that was a nice sleep. I actually got a really good night's sleep that night, which is cool, because I wasn't freaking out too bad, and I freaked out a couple times, but not severely. I handled it a lot better than I thought I would, which is great. And so we went back to the campsite and camped and made our way to our last show, which was very exciting for me because I haven't played a house show in years either, and we went to Columbus to play this house show at the House with No Name, and I didn't know what to expect, but it was exactly what I wanted it to be. A very supportive scene, kids just coming. Again, it reminded me of like house shows that we used to have around here, and just people supporting one another, lots of diversity. The guy who lives there is really cool. We're actually going to collaborate probably because he has a lot of good ideas, and he's very open to the whole trans thing, and he is very interested in working like with what he's going through, which I'm not going to explain for him. If we work together, you'll see what he's up to and what he does. But like there was just so much just support, and they just have like writings all over the walls and lots of talent. There was a great like heavier band that was phenomenal. I haven't seen a band like that in a long time. And the acoustic acts that played after us were just amazing. They all blew me away. And I met another trans girl who happens to be non-binary, and she was very nice, very young, and extremely talented. And I hope she sees this, because I know she can be a little hard on herself, but I understand. But I do think she deserves a lot of credit, because her songs were just great. Just really good songwriting. And I'm looking forward to hearing some of her stuff recorded, which I told her. And so we had lots of good conversations from there, and honestly by that point I was like actually ready to go home. I mean, after 12 days of not being out, after 12 days of being out and then like not have doing this for so long, like I wasn't surprised. I was so anyways, my camera cut me off because I can only do 20 minutes at a time, and I decided to go over 20 minutes again. So you're welcome, everybody who's watching. But as I was saying, yeah, I was ready to go home. I missed the cats, I missed David, and I was just really excited to come back. It was a really long trip for not having been out since I transitioned, and like I said, I handled it pretty well, but I was just worn out and ready to rest. And I came home and it was wonderful. The cats missed me and David missed me, of course, because who wouldn't miss me? But yeah, so like tour went really good, and I'm just really excited to like be able to do more. I've been dealing with some like stress and anxiety since I got back, which sucks. I had a terrible week last week, like I said, and it's getting better now. Hopefully I can just start finding more stuff to do. I'm still trying to figure out what to do for money job-wise, and that's why I'm struggling so much, because I don't have a job anymore, as I had mentioned. And that's why I got the new camera, because I need to have at least one way that I'm earning some money. And so if anybody needs photos done, let me know. And I'm also, one other thing I'm going to try to get into, which I'll talk about more, but I'm going to just let you know that I'm working on hopefully starting a charity. I might do it through the support group I'm with, or I might do something on my own, but I kind of do want to turn like what I'm doing with photography into like a charity of some sorts to like support the trans rights stuff going on. And so like if I start charging, like I'm going to do like a percentage, like 50% will go to a charity. When I sell my prints, I think I'm definitely doing that at this point. I'm not sure about the shoots themselves, but the prints that I'm selling, from this point on, I'm taking 50% of everything I sell, and I'm going to either keep it and put it towards a charity that I'm doing, or donating it to a charity that I already know about or find. Equality PA is a big one that I like from around here, and maybe a national one, I'm not sure. But I want to get into that, so if anybody wants to support or do anything, message me and I'll let you look through the prints that I'm selling, and if you want to book something, just let me know, because that's what I'm going to be focused on, is just like the band and the photography right now, and then hopefully a job or something at some point. So, but I've talked your ears off enough, and that's it. So thanks everybody, we'll see you next time.